Hello, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothien here, and we're going to be going over this patch note. It's gotten some huge hype because of the resource changes. We'll definitely be putting the majority of our time on this video into conversing, something like that, about these resource changes. It's a massive change, and I don't know if it's necessarily the right one. Let's talk about it. Let's also go over some of the new stuff that's going to be coming with the summer chapter event here. And we've got just that coming out this morning. Summer chapter update 1.0.49. Planning to update it on the 11th, so probably more like the 13th or so. There's usually a couple days delay after their announced time frame because of an App Store update or something like that. But let's go over everything that we're going to be looking at coming into the game in just over a week. Number one is the Summer Festival events. It's going to be, the normal event stuff. We'll go live within a week. Once yearly, Summer Festival preparations are in full swing, but the attending Bjorn Ironside is not nearly as impressed as managing commanders Minna and Tomoe. Can they iron out their differences before events get out of hand? That's kind of interesting. That's not normally something that they do. As far as giving a little bit of lore behind the events, but start the summer story and join with the commanders. Okay, 7 days of questing for great rewards. We all know what that looks like. Festival gala, participate in the banquet and earn decorative system or items and festival city themes. That's always good too. Summer sojourn, collect flower paper, killing barbs, doing forts, etc. Who can eliminate the most barbarians in a short period of time? That's race against time. That's a good event. Protect the supplies. Escort supplies to the village. They're giving all the normal PvE stuff around events that they usually do as well. I like that part, at least. Help people recover for some KVKs and just get things that they need. Number two, Lost Kingdom optimizations. Now, we're continuing to optimize Lost Kingdom. In the March of the Ages, they've added a new series of technology quests into the season, updating building, icon, and certain screen displays. Improve the reserves dispatch to forward camp command with a cancellation option when en route. I've not done March of the Ages yet, so I don't know what most of that means. However, I've heard mixed reviews of March of the Ages. Once I get myself one of my accounts into March of the Ages KVK, I will certainly be covering it on the channel so you guys know what to do in it and things like that. But so far, I've not heard great things about that just yet. So hopefully these changes will help do what is necessary in March of the Ages. Number two, Strife of the Eight story. Optimize the rewards available in some of the Crusader achievement quests. Okay. Hopefully optimize meaning more rewards. Three, in the Light versus Darkness story, Crusader Fortress destruction time reduced to 1 day instead of 2 days. Okay. I mean, there's not a whole lot of fighting until Kingsland. There's no fortresses in Kingsland, so this would be post-Kingsland fights anyway. I guess that's okay. Number four, governors under City Hall level 16 cannot claim the Lost Kingdom achievement rewards again. Again. What do you mean again? I'm not sure. Okay, other optimizations. This is where we're going to spend the majority of our time, and we may even go through it and then come back to it. We've reduced, or we've, that's just on my mind, reduced. We've boosted the resource point deposits by 25%. So in Home Kingdom, they're usually at about 1 million. So you're looking at 1.25 million on food and wood, etc. across the board, excluding gem deposits and Alliance resource centers, and improved troops base gathering speed by a paltry 10%. That's a little rough. We have also set a daily cap on the quantity of resources that can be received through resource assistance and plundering at 200 million for each. We're going to come back to that because that requires a little bit of a, I don't know if rant is the right word, but conversation. Number two, optimizations to ARC. Troops in hospital are now included in the matchmaking calculations. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I mean, it's only a 1 hour event. Do they not calculate throughout the whole thing, or is there only one particular time? I don't know. Also, practice matches can be done on Saturdays and Sundays. That's good too. Improve the Osiris League minimap display. Okay, interested to see what those improvements are. Number four, new Alliance search functionality. Basically allows you to search without having to capitalize. That's good, and it'll also tell you if it's in your own kingdom or not. Also good. 30-day research speed-up supply has been made available for a limited time. These supplies are only open to kingdoms undergoing or have passed the Eve of the Crusade from Lost Kingdom Season 1 when this event begins. Interesting. So it's available for all the events leading up to Season of Conquest. So you can start stacking that stuff up, I guess. That's good. Also, it'll help people who are still trying to grow their account. That's very nice. Improved a bug in the power rating of certain equipment and special talents. Okay. Improve the underlying algorithm of Season of Conquest Imperium Kingdoms, linking Imperium Kingdom numbers with the number of kingdoms entering Season of Conquest. That seems pretty convoluted. I'm not sure what that means. Hopefully it helps the matchmaking of the kingdoms. That should be a good thing. Added a new Master and Commander achievement category, completion of which series will earn an abundant reward. That's good. Let's go back up to the resource stuff, though. Obviously, the resource stuff is top of mind for everybody. The thought process behind this from the development team is to try and further eliminate resource sellers. I mean, it's clear as day that that's what they're trying to do. And I emphasize the word trying because I just don't know if this is the fix to do that. This puts basically a hard cap for every player in the game to receive a certain number of resources between KBKs. And that's where I kind of have a problem, because that means that you can theoretically just understand how many resources people are going to have, especially after the first couple waves of KVKs after a change like this happens, because if you've stockpiled now before the changes happen, eventually you will run out of those resources. But yeah, I'm not sure if this is the number. I think there's a couple problems with this. One, deposits by 25% increase, boosting the 25% gathering speed. I don't know if that's enough. Or the 25% increase in amount of resources. I don't think that's enough. I think they need to double these things. And they also need to increase the gathering speed of them by a significant amount too. I just think the numbers that they increased for a personal gathering, which is the only thing that's not capped right now, technically, although theoretically it is based off of just the amount of gathering you can physically do with any particular account. Increasing the gathering amount, I mean, to me, the only way to fix the resource seller problem is to make one of two adjustments. Either make it to where a player can, not just a casual player, but a very active player can farm enough resources in between KBKs to actually sustain themselves if they're using T5 and they're a heavy fighter. That's the only way from that standpoint to be able to do that. And I don't think increasing the nodes by 25% and a 10% gathering speed boost is going to do that. I just don't. I just don't see that being the fix. The other thing is obviously to sell the resources that you sell through your bundles at the same kind of level that the resource sellers in the game do, thereby basically eliminating the market for off-brand resource sellers in the game. And that would also, again, give you more money coming in. To me, that would be the Lilith answer. Personally, you're either going to buy them anyway, and why would you not buy them? One, because you'll get them instantly, and two, because they will definitely be 100% legit, and you won't have to worry about somebody getting banned or something like that. To me, that's the easy answer for Lilith. And maybe a combination of those two things would be the answer, but putting a cap at 200 million resources total, not for each resource, but total, to transfer is a bit rough. The other problem this has a problem with is this basically kills the functionality of alliance banks and alliance resources, kingdom banks, kingdom resources. And in 916 we have a penalty for breaking rules and things like that, and part of that is transferring resources to a kingdom bank. And if there's 3 people that break the rules, they can't transfer the resources to that bank in the same day. We've got to spread it out and manage that and all that. And then also the other piece that I don't really like is the 200,000 plundering cap, 200 million plundering cap. I mean, there's cities that we hit that have $1 billion of each sitting there, that if we kill everything that it takes to drop a flag underneath a player that has gone offline and not protected themselves and get to that point, and then kill all the troops that are protecting that horde of resources, we should be able to acquire all that stuff. And if it's maybe 3 players doing it, you're going to waste. I mean, there's no way to get those resources if you've maxed out your 200 million cap and there's 4 billion resources on the city. You've basically effectively wasted your troops because you can't recoup what you needed to take those resources in the first place. And then there's just a plethora of other things. So I hope that this is not what has officially gone into the game. I understand the need to combat resource sellers, and I think that there's a way to do it. I just think this is not the way. I think it's a good step towards the way, but I think the combination of these changes aren't offsetting each other enough to allow players to farm enough to fight effectively. The other piece to that is it just costs so much for a heavy fighter to fight in these KVKs. You've made it to where it's so wide open and there's so many kingdoms and so many players in these kingdoms fighting at one time. You can't you can't have it cost 100 million resources for a half full hospital of T5 to to be the case, and then cap it at 200 million resource assistance. You stockpile for your entire off season of KVK and maybe have $1 billion or $2 billion of each, or $1.5 billion of each, or whatever it is, between you farming and people sending you resources every day for 200 million, your 200 million cap. You might not even get to that point, but I guess my point is, once you get into the middle of KVK, you don't have necessarily the ability to restock on the fly. You've got to wait. You've got to wait, farm yourself. You've got to wait your 200 million resources each day, and then eventually you can get back into the fight. I just don't think that's the spirit of the game. I think that if you have a kingdom that is able to load up the heavy fighters that are doing a lot of the bulk of the work up front, you can't do that with this patch. So I think there's some revisiting that needs to be done to this patch for sure. It's definitely not the answer to what I've been told is the reason why they're doing this, and that's obviously to combat resource bot sellers and all that stuff. I think this is another one of those things that just doesn't quite hit the mark. So hopefully this gets addressed, and hopefully it gets set up the right way. I'm really hoping that they fix this a little bit better than what they've got it up right now. Maybe it'll start with this and then get adjusted down the road, or maybe they'll just scrap it until they figure out the exact right way to do this. That being said, I hope you've enjoyed the patch note review, and again, throw your comments in the comment section below. I know that some of you like it, some of you don't like it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, and I'll certainly be commenting as the video gets more views. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers, have a good one, and take care.